Draymond Green's story begins far from the bright lights of the NBA. It begins in Saginaw, Michigan, a working-class city that knows something about grit, about struggle, about fighting for every inch. In that environment, a young Draymond Jamal Green Sr. learned what toughness really meant. He wasn't born into privilege, and he wasn't handed anything on a silver platter. He had to fight for respect, fight for opportunity, fight for his dream. That fight became the essence of who he was, the unshakable identity that has followed him from his first days on the blacktop to the highest stage of professional basketball. Even as a kid, Green was different. He wasn't the tallest player on the court, and he wasn't always the most skilled, but he carried himself with an intensity that made people take notice. Coaches and teammates alike recall that he was the one who shouted the loudest, who pushed the hardest, who demanded the most out of everyone in the gym. He played as if the game was personal. That fire could be overwhelming at times, but it was also undeniable. It was the kind of energy you couldn't ignore, and it set him apart from a young age. At Saginaw High School, Green's passion turned into leadership. Under coach Lou Dawkins, the team became a powerhouse, and Green was at the center of it. He wasn't just scoring points or grabbing rebounds. He was holding teammates accountable, inspiring confidence, and setting the tone for everyone else. His senior season in 2008 was the stuff of legend. A 27-1 record, a Class A state championship, and Green as the engine of it all. That year showed the basketball world what kind of player he could become, not just a contributor, but a leader who could elevate an entire team. His success led him to Michigan State University, where he joined Tom Izzo's program. Michigan State is known for producing tough, disciplined, team-first players, and Green fit that mold perfectly. Still, his journey wasn't instant stardom. He had to work his way up, had to earn his minutes, had to prove to everyone that he belonged. But as the years went by, his game grew, and so did his influence. His versatility began to shine. He could defend multiple positions, pass with vision, rebound with ferocity, and score when needed. He became the kind of player who filled every gap, who made everyone around him better. By the time he was a senior, Green was a two-time consensus All-American, the Big Ten Player of the Year, and a legend at Michigan State. But even then, doubts followed him. When the 2012 NBA draft arrived, Green expected to go higher than he did. Instead, he slipped into the second round, selected 35th overall by the Golden State Warriors. Scouts questioned his size, too small for a power forward, not skilled enough for a guard. They wondered if his game would translate. They doubted his ability to excel at the highest level. For Green, that night left a mark. It wasn't disappointment alone, it was motivation. It was a wound he would use as fuel for the rest of his career. When he arrived in Golden State, the Warriors were not yet the dynasty we know today. Stephen Curry was just beginning to blossom into a star, Klay Thompson was emerging as a sharpshooter, and the organization was searching for an identity. Green walked into that environment and immediately made his presence felt. From his rookie season, he played with an energy that electrified the floor. He talked constantly, directing teammates, calling out plays, and setting the emotional tone. He didn't back down from anyone, not even veterans. It was clear, even then, that while Curry was the face and Thompson the quiet killer, Green was the heartbeat. Everything changed in the 2014-15 season when Steve Kerr became head coach. Kerr's vision for the team emphasized ball movement, spacing, three-point shooting, and defensive versatility. Green became the perfect piece for that puzzle. His ability to guard every position, to push the ball in transition, to make quick passes, and to energize the defense elevated the Warriors into something the NBA had never quite seen before. That year, the Warriors won 67 games and captured their first championship in 40 years. Green wasn't just part of the team, he was essential to it. His 2015-16 season was a career-defining campaign. Averaging close to a triple-double, he stuffed the stat sheet every night. He recorded 13 triple-doubles, finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, and became the emotional and strategic anchor of a team that set an NBA record with 73 wins. But that season also showed the double-edged sword of his fire. In the NBA Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, his intensity boiled over. A suspension in Game 5 shifted the series, and the Warriors, after leading 3-1, ultimately lost the championship. For many, That was the defining moment of his career, a costly mistake. For Green, it became a source of fuel, a lesson learned in the harshest way possible. The arrival of Kevin Durant in 2016 changed everything again. With Curry, Thompson, and Durant on the floor, the Warriors had perhaps the most unstoppable offensive trio in league history. But even then, Green's role remained irreplaceable. He was the glue that held the system together. While Durant and Curry dazzled with scoring, Green was orchestrating the defense, initiating the fast breaks, and setting the tone every night. In 2017, his work was recognized when he was named NBA Defensive Player of the Year. That season, the Warriors stormed through the playoffs and captured the championship, cementing their dynasty. They repeated in 2018, with Green once again serving as the foundation of their defensive identity and emotional leader. What separates Draymond Green from so many others is that his greatness isn't measured by points scored. His legacy is built on intangibles. It's the deflection that stops a run, the rotation that saves a possession, the perfectly timed pass that creates an open shot, the voice on defense that makes 5 players move as one. Those things don't always make highlight reels, but they win championships. In many ways, Green embodies the purest form of basketball greatness, not individual numbers, but collective success. Of course, his career has also been marked by controversy. His fiery personality often brings conflict. He's been fined, suspended, and criticized for his temper. He's had confrontations with referees, opponents, and even teammates. The altercation with Durant in 2018 became a national story, with many questioning whether the Warriors' dynasty could survive the tension. But through it all, Green has remained unapologetically himself. He owns his flaws, acknowledges his mistakes, and insists that his fire, though sometimes costly, is also what makes him who he is. That paradox defines him. His passion is both his gift and his burden. When injuries and roster changes tested the Warriors after 2019, Green's leadership became even more important. With Thompson sidelined for 2 seasons and Curry carrying the offensive load, Green kept the team culture alive. He mentored younger players, maintained the defensive identity, and reminded everyone of what Warrior basketball stood for. That resilience paid off in 2022 when the Warriors returned to the finals and defeated the Boston Celtics. Green's fingerprints were all over that victory. His defense, his passing, his relentless energy once again proved vital. Off the court, Green has carved out a new role as one of the most outspoken voices in basketball. His appearances on TNT's Inside the NBA and his own podcast have shown fans another side of him. The sharp basketball mind, the articulate communicator, the unfiltered truth-teller. He's not afraid to challenge narratives, call out hypocrisy, or spark debate. Whether people agree or disagree, they listen. In that way, Green has extended his influence beyond the court, shaping the conversation around the game itself. When history remembers Draymond Green, it won't be as a high-scoring superstar or a flashiest highlight maker. It will be as one of the greatest defenders of his generation, one of the most versatile players the game has ever seen, and the emotional core of one of the most dominant dynasties in NBA history. His career is proof that greatness doesn't always look like what we expect. It doesn't always mean scoring 30 points a night. Sometimes, it means doing the dirty work, making the sacrifices, and caring more than anyone else on the floor. Sometimes, greatness looks like Draymond Green. He has been told he was too small, too emotional, too unconventional. Yet he has become a 4-time NBA champion, a Defensive Player of the Year, an All-Star, and the voice of a dynasty. He turned doubt into motivation, mistakes into lessons, and passion into impact. He redefined what it means to be indispensable. For all his flaws, for all his controversies, for all the moments that made headlines, one truth remains. The Golden State Warriors dynasty does not exist without Draymond Green. His fingerprints are on every championship, every big moment, every defensive stand, and every rallying cry. He is the living embodiment of heart over hype, of substance over flash, of fire over fear. And so, as we look back at his journey, we see more than just a basketball career. We see a story of resilience, of leadership, of passion channeled into greatness. We see a reminder that the game isn't just about points and trophies. It's about the fire that makes those things possible. And no one in this era has carried that fire quite like Draymond Green. Thank you for watching and for joining us on this journey through the legacy of Draymond Green, the heartbeat of a dynasty. If his story inspired you, if his passion reminded you of why we love this game, then make sure to like this video, share it with fellow fans, and subscribe so you never miss a tribute like this. Because stories like Draymond's remind us that basketball is not just about the scoreboard. It's about the heart that drives it all.